Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Ashley and we are doing my third read a book more deeply, aka read a book and take some notes on it. Now I am struggling to pick which one I wanted to read this month. I have a lot going on in March and I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit worried that I don't have time to read. So I didn't want to read something that was really chunky or really difficult to get into. However, I still want to read. I still really want to read and I want to keep my reading up. So I was trying to figure out which book to read, and I wanted to read fantasy, but I think fantasy might be a bit too chunky. And then I was thinking maybe a horror, but I've read 2 horror books for this vlog in the past 2 months. So I don't want it like set a precedent of I'm only reading horror books. So I've narrowed it down to 2 and I can't decide which one. And I was going to do try a chapter or so or 2 of each, and then I realized that if I do that, I have to take notes on both, which kind of isn't helpful. So the first book that I kind of want to read is Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Wang. This looks really cool. I'm really leaning towards this. I've been wanting to read this for a while and I stopped kind of wanting to read it because my brain was like, but like, it's, what if you don't like it? Like, what if it's just difficult to get into? It's also like a fantasy. There might be a bit too much for it. So I'm wondering if I want to read this. I really want to read it at some point, but I don't know if I want to read it just yet. And then the second book that I want to read is A Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe. And I really want to read this because I saw a TikTok that said it was sapphic and it was kind of Firefly-esque. And I think I'm kind of leaning towards this one. It's floppy. It is a chunkier book than the other one, like comparatively. It is chunkier, but the writing is bigger. And I just feel like this one is kind of, yeah, I want to read this one more. So I'm going to read this one. So I'll read the back of this book and then we're going to go into reading this. A washed-up treasure hunter, a hotshot racer, and a deadly secret society. They're all in the race against time to hunt down the greatest warship ever built. Some think the ship is lost forever, some think it's been destroyed, and some think it's only a legend. But one thing's for certain, whoever finds it will hold the fate of the universe in their hands. And treasure that valuable can never stay hidden for long. I think this sounds really cool. It's a very floppy paperback and I'm really excited to get into this. I don't forage into sci-fi very often. I find it sometimes a little bit difficult to read. But I think I'm vibing with this. So let's get into it and see how I enjoy it. Hello. It is still the same day. I have only read 3 chapters of A Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe. I have to check the title because it's such a long title. And I'm really enjoying this already. So I've met our 2 main characters. I'm assuming there's only 2 because we've only met 2 in the last 2 chapters. But we've got Nyla and we've got Boots. Weird name, but Boots. And it's really interesting. No spoilers because this is the first couple of chapters and you potentially might want to read this. And this is revealed in the first chapter. There's magic in this.
Oh, so it's like a fantasy sci-fi crossover.
Yeah. And it threw me off. But it's really interesting. The first chapter, I said this to you, and it's not really a spoiler again because it says on the back, a treasure hunter, a hotshot racer, and a deadly secret society. But the first chapter is basically an F1 race. And it was really interesting because it definitely gave me Phantom Menace meets F1 vibes, which was really interesting. Oh, you alright there?
Phantom Menace, I'm sold.
Well, I thought that. Firefly, Phantom Menace, and Sapphics.
Yeah.
I think you're reading this book. It's really interesting because you have these 2 characters. And Boots, I don't know why I expected her to be younger than she is, but I think she's quite old. And then you've got Nyla, who is just a cocky little cow. And that's all I'm saying about this. I don't want to go into too much because spoilers, but I am... Oh, that makes more sense. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm reading it. Not a lot has happened. A lot of action's happened. It's very, very actiony already. And I'm really curious. I don't have the spoons to read this right now because I have to kind of have my head turned on to try and do it. But so far, yeah, really interested in where this is going to go. And it's quicker than anticipated, which is good. But yeah. Oh, I should have known by the fact that it is blurbed and it says an exciting, fast-paced, magic-fueled treasure hunt across the galaxy. But yeah, like I think that's the thing that has thrown me off the most is the fact that we have magic in with a very heavily sci-fi world.
Yeah.
And it's not even referred to as like abilities or anything like that. It is referred to as magic. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far, and I'm very curious where it's gonna go. It's really like just very fast paced and like throw us into the action straight away, which I think sometimes is a really good way to like kick you into gear. Pun intended, because they're racing cars. But yeah, again, don't want to say too much because this one might want to read it. Because Sapphic Firefly vibes. A little bit annoyed that it's taken me this long to read this book, to be honest.
Better late than never.
Yeah. And it's very floppy.
Yeah. I did notice that when I looked at it earlier. I was like, ooh.
So hopefully I can get to this, even if I'm reading it slowly. It's not the end of the world, but I want to try and get to this. I do believe this is a fully finished trilogy as well.
Nice.
So if I like this one, I might go and see if I can grab the second one and the third one and get myself like a new sci-fi, because it's very difficult for me to like a sci-fi. I like sci-fi, but
I have a couple of sci-fis that I would recommend to you, but I don't know if you would like them.
Interesting. But yeah, I'm going to continue with this. Probably just kind of read for half an hour every day of this, just to kind of build up that enjoyment. And also, I don't know how busy I'm going to be. I've got D&D this week.
Yeah.
I need to plan D&D. Oh, I've got to plan D&D. And then I've got rehearsal, and that's about it. So yeah, we're gonna go because we're both tired.
Yeah.
This one goes home tomorrow. Sad face.
Abo.
But yeah, hopefully I will have some more updates with this soon. Hi guys, I've not done much more reading of A Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe. I have to always look at the title because it's such a long title, but I've not had a chance to read this one. I have been reading a lot. I've read so much this month. However, when I need to read specifically and intentionally, I just have not had the bandwidth to do this. So because of that, I've been rereading things a lot. I've read things that I can just listen to the audiobook and get lost in it. And I've been reading as distraction, not reading as an in-depth look into something. So it's been a bit of a difficult one to sit down and read. However, it is now the 21st of March, and you may be thinking, Ashley, you've got 10 days left of the month. Like you can sit down and read that. The issue is, and it's not an issue, but it's my fiance's birthday at the end of the month, and because of that, I will be seeing her from the 27th. Obviously, we want to spend time together, and because of that, I have a lot of things I need to do, and at the moment work's really busy, so therefore I can't sit and dedicate time. I'm doing like 2 hours of overtime every day. And because of that, you know, there's just not the bandwidth to sit and dedicate time to like reading with a purpose. So I'm hoping to spend time doing that today. I have this much of the book left. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to try and read. I have a candle burning. I have some snacks. I have my drink of choice, my beverage of choice. And I am going to read with as much intention as I can. And hopefully I will be able to finish my book by the end of the day. And if not by the end of the day, hopefully I'll be able to read it by the end of the weekend. So let's at least try it. Hello, I have moved. I am now facing the head of the bed. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I'm doing it like this, but apparently I am. I've read a little bit more of A Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe, and I'm at chapter 11. I'm at chapter 11, and spoilers. This is the spoiler vlog. Sorry about it if you didn't want to know anything. There's a bit in this book where Nyla's... Let's start from the beginning, because this is a spoiler vlog. Nyla, the racer, was taken into this other dimension type thing by this being called Mother, with a guy called Cyril, who's also a racer, who was in with something, and Mother killed Cyril. Nyla managed to get away without being killed, and now she's wanted for murder. They have officially said that she's wanted for murder for this. And, you know, like, as any sane person would do, she went to a bank to withdraw money, but she's like, I'm not getting arrested, but she went to the bank to get money. Personally, I don't think I would have done that, but that's what she did. So she did that. And of course, something happens, and then she can't get out of it. She's like dealing with the police come and get her, and now she's in this guy who was a fan of her. He's gotten her out of jail so that she's not in jail, and he's talking to her, and all that concludes in this point where she's talking about wealth. And it's an interesting discussion of like, everyone had, like, people have, she has all of this wealth because of like her connections and things like that, and she's got like a self-cleaning house, she's got things that can like food that can be made whatever she wants. But this guy has hundreds, if not thousands, of staff, and they're there to be seen and not heard, which a really, really good metaphor for like the type of money, and saying like he is more wealthy because of that, and like his show of wealth is more obvious. But then he's talking about it, and she's like, oh, how much does it cost, like, for wages and stuff like that? And he goes, oh, you misunderstand. They got into debt with me, and this is how they're paying it off. And I'm like, that's not good. That's not good at all. And he's kind of like making it this thing of like, oh, don't get me wrong, they have a really, really good life, they get good food, they get good like living arrangements if they get old, they go to good hospice care. And I'm sat there and I'm like, that doesn't make it okay. And I know that like there are bad people in the world, and obviously this is not the world, but like the indentured servitude is very weird, and it's a weird vibe, and it wasn't something that I was expecting. But it's really interesting, and it's kind of growing the world. We also have, so that was just kind of following Nyla's story. We are still following Boots' story. So Boots is a previous soldier who is now she then became like, she was basically a reality TV star, and she's gotten into trouble because she's made maps and stuff to buried treasure, and has swindled a lot of people out of money, and it's kind of bitten her in the arse now. But she's just gone to this colony on this planet because they're trying to find the Harrow, which is this, I'm assuming, the big ship at the end of the universe. Yeah, the greatest warship ever built. And they went to this colony. There was this, basically, like a sci-fi landmine. I'm going to call it a sci-fi landmine. It's more scary than that, but it's a sci-fi landmine. They got the sci-fi landmine, and once they've gone to the sci-fi landmine, they are stood there. One of the guys dismantles it, and she gets blinded. So she's in this random house. She's randomly blinded, and they find something on, like, a communication, a recording on one of the databases or the data banks or whatever you want to call it. And it's someone who is addressing her specifically. And it was real creepy. Really creepy. I'm really enjoying it. I am not as well into it as I had wanted to be, but it's getting there. It's getting there. I have about 2.5 hours left on my audiobook. So I'm hoping to get this finished today. However, it is now almost 7 o'clock. And I do want a bath. And I do need to eat. So who knows? I did also go out to Asda and buy some stuff to cook and to last me for the week, lunch-wise. So we're just going to kind of play it by ear. Hopefully I can finish reading it, and if I don't, it's not the end of the world. So I'll see you in a bit, and hopefully I've read more. Hi, apologies if you can hear like whirring. Someone is either I think they're hoovering, and I can kind of hear it, so apologies if you can hear that. I am now a good chunk into this. I'm to chapter 16, which is that far in, and things have taken a serious turn in this book. People are dying, people are dead. Lots of things have happened. It's really intense. What I will say about this book, without going into too much detail, because I don't want to think about it too much, I just want to kind of continue on with this book. But what I'm feeling in this book so far is Alex White is fantastic at writing combat, specifically hand-to-hand combat. And yeah, there's been scenes in this where I'm just like, I need to know what happens next, and I think that is rare, and it's sometimes not done well, and this has been done spectacularly, so I'm really excited to continue. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this book today. I'm hoping so. I've got like an hour and a bit left. However, I'm going to my nana's to get food. I'm also have a Patreon thing that's happening for a different Patreon I'm on, so we will see. But I'm really enjoying this book. Like, I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm hoping to finish it. Also, I just love how floppy this book is. But yeah, I'm hoping to finish this. I hope it doesn't like peter off, and that this continues to be great. But we will see. Hi guys. I have finished a big ship at the edge of the universe. I believe that's what you call it. I gave it a 4-star. I finished this a couple of days ago. It is now the middle of April. Well, it's the beginning of April. And I had a few books that I had to wrap quite quickly, so I didn't get a chance to talk about it very much on the vlog whilst I was at Becca's and when I finished it. But I really enjoyed it. I think sci-fi is always a difficult one because I'm not the biggest sci-fi girly reading wise. I think that it sometimes can come off a little bit too convoluted for me. It's sometimes a little bit too much to hold on to. I like my light sci-fis. I don't like anything that's too much. I think the magic system in this was really good. I think that's what really brought this book up. The character interactions were really good, and the pacing of this book was incredible. I will say that. I think that Alex White can really write a he's really good at writing the action scenes. Everything felt cinematic, which I think is really, really good. I think that's really what's needed in a sci-fi book. I think that sci-fi is really, really difficult for me to rate a 5-star. I think that it was really, really good. I do want to start, like, finish the other books, but there's just something little niggling missing from this book to make it a 5-star. However, that's fine. I don't mind. I think the characters are really, really good. I was like, the stakes felt really high. Everything felt like it was wrapped up in a way that book one was left. I loved the antagonists. There's still more that we're getting from it. The scene with the president where he comes in and he is he's there and he's like, his powers are shown, like everyone thinks he's got one power and he doesn't, and he starts to like manipulate everyone, was so beautifully done. Like, oh my god, it was so good. I really thoroughly enjoyed that. But overall, it was probably one of the best sci-fi books I've read in a long time, but it isn't perfect in the sense of it's not perfect for me. But I definitely think, I see why people say like, oh, read it as if you're a fan of Firefly. I think I totally see that. I think that the interactions with the characters were really, really good. I think there was enough interest and all the characters felt different, which I think is sometimes something that with a big ensemble cast, you struggle to differentiate those characters, and I think that they did this really, really well. I think I'm going to finish the series. I think that I think it would be really, really bad if I didn't. But it's the first 4-star of this experiment, I think. But yeah, I think sci-fi was a bad shout for me to do for this experiment, just because sometimes I need a zone when I'm reading a sci-fi, like in the sense of I need to have like double input, whereas with this, because I was reading it and I was taking notes on it, I had to like zone in on it, and I think sometimes I felt myself drifting a bit. But I really enjoyed it. I think it was a really, really good book. I think it's really interesting. I think I would read more from this author in the future. And I'm definitely going to try and finish the series because the series was really good. But that is all from me. I need to decide what I'm reading in April. I'm hoping to start this a bit earlier so I can take it slower. If you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below. I'm thinking about doing a fantasy just because I haven't done one of those yet, and I think a fantasy might be a good shout. I just need to figure out what fantasy I want to read. But that is it for today, guys, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye, guys.